Maree Kirkpatrick. Welcome to the Hayley Osborne Show. I'm
Thanks.
really happy that you're here.
I'm super pumped. I love all the conversations we have, and I'm really excited to now actually have them recorded onto a podcast to share with other people.
I know. So I would have given a little intro anyway, but Maree and I have known each other, a couple of years, I'd say now, maybe
Yep.
a little bit less. And we just kind of like to give all the listeners a preface. We're magnetized to each other. Well, I was magnetized to you, and then we've just kind of developed this like beautiful friendship because you have a gorgeous personality and you are a smart lady. And so I
Us.
had to get you on the podcast because there's this constant debate of sales and marketing
Mhm.
and which one comes first. And they're both relevant, but you're a complete expert at what you do. And I think the sales process is really important. And I know that small business owners will benefit from this like a million folds. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you. So, in your own words, tell everyone who you are and what you do.
So, thank you for saying all of that. I just want to say that when I first met you, I knew you were my people as well. And I think with women in business, sometimes we don't always click with everyone. But I knew as soon as I met you, I was like, yeah, she's my people. Let's hang out with her. Anyway, so my name's Maree Kirkpatrick. I am a sales and business strategist. I help women in business learn to sell what it is that they do, look at their messaging, their marketing, and to actually be really clear on the value that they get across for their clients.
Yeah. So let's talk about, do you have a sales process? That is the question that you ask everybody. So, what is a sales process?
So, a sales process is a series of steps that you take an inquiry or anyone that jumps onto any part of your business, your social media, your um, website, your email list, anything along those lines. The moment that they touch your business all the way through to them becoming a paying client and beyond. So, how do we take them from the inquiry all the way through to a beautiful paying client, start that relationship, and then onboard them and nurture them and look after them and maybe look at repeat business or referrals and really nurture those relationships that come through. I find a lot of people these days in business are so focused on finding more leads
Mm,
rather than looking after the ones that have already inquired with them.
mm.
So a sales process really sets up that structure for you to follow, takes away the mental load, make sure it's high converting. It's just sexy, really.
Yeah. And I will say I had to brush up on my sales process because my zone is marketing. And I do know that you cannot have one without the other. And I'm not sure which one comes first, but if you don't know how to sell what it is that you do, you are going to be in a world of pain because essentially that's the conversion. That's the you're not here for a haircut, we're here to make money. But
Absolutely.
what I find a lot of people that run small businesses think about sales is that it is quite yucky, sleazy, icky. So, how do you, I guess, bridge that gap?
Yeah. So sales doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It's when people feel like they've got to push things onto people that it becomes that uncomfortable, gross. No one likes being sold to, but everyone likes to buy. So the way that I like to look at it is how do we pull people in? How do we show people that this is where they need the help? This is how we can help them. We are a great choice for them. We care about them. And I believe that the best way to sell is through connection. There's
Mm,
no point in trying to push a product or a service onto someone that doesn't need it, doesn't want it, isn't interested in it. I don't know about you, but I've had cold calls regularly happen for me.
oh,
And
a
I
lot.
always think, wow, there are so many other ways that you can do marketing these days. And even when you said what comes first, sales or marketing, and I know I've had this conversation with so many marketers, right? I believe that if you don't have that sales process set up and you turn on your marketing tap and there's holes in your sales bucket, you lose time, you lose money, you lose energy, and you potentially ruin your brand. If
Yeah.
someone inquires with you and you let them fall through the cracks, they've then gone and told someone else that, hey, I've spoken to that person. They never got back to me. Or, yeah, they said that they were going to send something through and they didn't. Like all of that is brand damaging. And people these days talk. I mean, we've always talked, obviously, but social media is around. People are more than happy to express their thoughts and feelings on businesses these days. It's really easy to give feedback and talk about other businesses and the experiences that they've had. So for me, it's like, how do we tighten up that sales process so that everyone that comes in contact with us has a really great experience and want to go and tell people and become raving fans of ours?
Yeah, and it's definitely that time, energy, money, not in that order, that is the most valuable commodity. And we were just talking about this the other day. It's like those things, if you can get back those things and do things more efficiently, then that makes up for like a wonderful business model because we're all searching for it.
Absolutely. And I know that being a mum, my time is limited, my
Yeah.
energy is limited, my mental space is limited. I want things to be really easy. I want to know that, for example, like I took a couple of weeks off the business a couple of months ago. I had a friend end up quite sick. And so I just stopped everything that wasn't essential within the business. I still had inquiries coming through. I
Yeah,
still
I
knew
love
that
that.
people were getting looked after. I still knew that that process was set up and to work for me rather than me working my business constantly.
Yeah.
So, sales can really be a beautiful system to support you as a business owner.
So where does somebody, so say someone's listening and going, I don't even know where to start. What is she talking about? Do I have a sales process? Like, what's the starting place?
So, the starting place, if you don't know what a sales process is, or you've never heard of one, or you're like, yep, I'm hearing what she's saying, but I just don't get it, I would literally get a pen and paper and I would draw out what is the current steps that people go through in your business. So, if someone reaches out to you via social media, maybe it's on Messenger, what happens? What are the sort of conversations you're having? If someone says, how much are you? Do you automatically give over a price? And then are people judging you on that price? Or do we need to ask a couple of questions to really dig in and find out what it is that they're looking for, how we can help them? What are those steps that we can take them through to give them really great information to help them make a really great decision? Whether they work with us or not is okay. It's not about 100% conversion. That is not what sales is. If you have a 100% conversion rate, you're doing something wrong. You're either too cheap or you're not aiming high enough in your business. That's just a little side note. Yeah. And I know, like, as the salesperson, I say that to a lot of people. But then when I'm talking to someone, I'm like, man, why didn't they convert? I want my sales rate or my conversion rate to be 100%, but it's not, and that's okay. I just have to keep telling myself that it's okay not to be perfect.
No,
So
it's
yeah,
not.
yeah. Yeah, so for me, like, map out those steps and understand what you can do to educate, nurture, add reassurance into people that are inquiring in your business. What things can you automate to take things off your plate? But it also means that if you've got that sales process, if you do decide to take time off or you do decide to bring in a team member or a VA or anyone along those lines, they already know what that process is. You're not expecting them to hit the ground running. It's
Mm.
about having those processes set up to support you and your business rather than you constantly pushing the pedals on your business and keep, pushing yourself uphill. The sales process supports all of that.
Yeah. And it is a structure, much like setting up, I feel like every business needs a sales process. Every business needs their accounting software. Every business needs their emails working like a well-oiled machine. They need their calendar right. Like they need their marketing. Like those things in business are necessary to continue to grow. And sales is no different. So I feel like small business owners, I want to say women in particular, but I'm sure it's men as well, that shy away from like, I guess, upskilling around selling and
Mm.
learning how to storytell and build trust and build authenticity because consumers these days can sniff through bullshit an absolute mile away. And so you have to get really clever as a business owner back to your core to be really organic in your approach to the way that you sell your product.
Absolutely. And the thing is, whether you choose to sell or not is totally up to you. I
Yeah.
can talk to you about sales till the cows come home, but
But
unless you
you
actually,
love it.
I freaking love it. Okay, shh, don't tell everyone, but I do. I secretly love it. But I also believe that your clients or your potential clients are going to have that problem whether you choose to sell to them or not. The difference is that you can either choose to serve them or someone else can. And all sales is literally serving more people,
Yeah.
helping more people, showing them that I know that you've got a challenge or I know that you really want this. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Come into my world and I can show you the best way to do stuff. Because I've met so many women and men, but mostly women in business that are so good at what they do. Like so good, absolute brilliant at their business, at their skill set, but they just don't know how to sell it. And
Mm.
so there's this constant unkept
Yep.
secret.
Best
Yep.
kept secret.
Best kept secret. Yep. And I'm like, wow, if you could learn how to sell what it is that you do, you can help so many more people. And the impact that that has on the greater world, on the greater people, on the greater experiences that
Correct.
people have, so sexy.
I think you
So
said that
sexy.
to me.
Yeah. And I can see it. I can see it when I meet people. I can
Yeah.
tell whether within 2 minutes of talking to someone about their business, I can tell whether their business is going to work or it's not. And
Yeah.
I'm also not the sort of person that will work with everyone. I know the sales chick is supposed to work with everyone and do whatever it takes to convert a sale. That's what I was taught when I was learning to sell, which is an absolute lot of
BS.
rubbish. Yep. Trying to
Yeah.
be politically correct and no swearing. But it's absolute rubbish. Like, not everyone's going to be your ideal client. Not everyone's going to like you. Your service is not going to be right for everyone. But
Mm.
for me, if I can't see how your business can grow and if I can't see what I can implement into your business to increase your sales, I'm not going to take your money and work with you. That's silly.
Yeah.
So it's about finding the people that need your help or that want your product or service. And it doesn't necessarily need to be from a pain point. I've worked with businesses that have sold products that are like designer bags, 5, 6, $700 bags. No one wakes up in the morning going, I need to drop $700 on a bag, right? It's about the positioning and it's about understanding what is it that people are looking for when they go to buy a bag. Is it the feeling? Is it it's like designer Prada are not there going, someone needs my bag. No,
Mm.
people are buying the emotion and the way that it makes them feel and all of that sort of stuff. So it's about understanding what is it that your clients are looking for and how can you help them along that journey with the feelings, with the products or services, with the challenges that they may be having, depending on what it is that you do.
Pain point selling and pain point marketing is
Mm,
like 10 years old, gone.
very old school.
I feel like there is not much of a place for that. And so if you have that in your repertoire of selling, it's time to like look at that and reinvent the wheel, because I don't feel like that's the nice way to sell. People want to be uplifted. They want to feel good. They want to be positive. They want to have all of the good things that come with your product, not the or service, not the pain point. Yes, I think you can address some what it is, what it isn't, but pain point selling, those days are gone.
I think it's also very masculine.
Yeah.
And so when women are like learning to sell, especially uh, there's a whole heap of people that teach to sell, obviously, in the
There's the
industries.
bro club. There is a bro club.
Absolutely. But there's also a lot of women that teach that same skill set because that's what they were taught.
Right.
And
Mm.
I was taught to sell that same way
Yeah.
20 years ago. However, it never felt good for me. It
Mm.
never felt like it ended up draining me. It felt rubbish. It felt uncomfortable. It felt like I was like convincing people to work with us or to sell whatever it was we were selling at the time. But for me now, it's like I really want to find those people that I want to work with, that I want to help like people that I want to become friends with. And I want to see your business succeed too. I
Yeah.
want to see you have those wins. I want to see you double your numbers. I want to see you have the biggest launches that you've had. That's the sort of stuff that, like, even talking about it now, I get goosebumps. That's the sort of stuff that lights me up. That's the sort of stuff that makes me want to jump up and down on my bed and be like, yes, I can't believe that I get to do this day in and day out,
Yeah.
because they're happy. They're growing what they want to be doing and they're doing it from a really easy, safe, happy place.
Yeah. You're a big cheerleader. It's lovely to watch.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I and that's what I mean. I only work with those people that I really want to be in their corner, that when they call me or message me and be like, "Hey, Maree, this is what's going on," or "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what about this? What about this?" And I'm strategizing with them at sometimes 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, depending on what time kids go to bed and what else is happening and where they are in their launches or things like that, you know? So I think
Yeah,
that's important.
and it's important to be flexible too in your approach, like with everything,
Yeah.
time as well as like how you approach dealing with different people in their sales journey.
Absolutely. And I think sales needs to be tailored. It needs to be tailored for you. It needs to be tailored for your business. And a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, it's okay for you, Maree. You're really outgoing and, you're a natural at this stuff." People don't realize that I'm a complete introvert. Like, I have my blanket on when once I've done a presenting or a VIP day with clients, I'm going home with my dressing gown on. Even if it's 35 degrees, I've got the air conditioning and the dressing gown on because my energy, like, it's not my natural easy state for me to be so out there with stuff.
Yes, but
So,
people don't know that because you are. And I've said that to you so many
mm,
times. I'm like, let's show the real you. And you're like, but what does that mean? Oh my God.
yeah, but do people want to see photos of me in my dressing gown with the air conditioning on? Like, that's not that fun. But I think it's also about understanding who you are and how you want your business to go. If you don't want to be that pushy salesperson, don't be. No one likes a pushy salesperson anyway. Find ways that light you up, find ways that you enjoy connecting with people. And once you find your people and your vibe, people will be attracted to that anyway. They'll know that you're their people. And
100%.
yeah,
So let's talk about all the cool things that you do in your business and that you've been doing in your business because you do some pretty cool things. So let's talk about your programs. So you've got Her Sales Club,
yes. So
sexy.
her sales club came from a place of I wanted to help more women, and I wanted to help more women in a space where we could get ranty, we can get frustrated, we can get really vulnerable, but safe.
Yeah,
It's that place that you have people that will say to you, "I don't think that that's going to work." Because the last thing I want you to do is spend 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years trying to grow your business and it's not working because maybe your pricing's off, maybe your product or service isn't right, maybe the ideal client that you're targeting is not working, maybe your messaging's not on point, maybe the way that you talk about your products or service is like speaking a different language to your clients. So her sales club is in that beautiful membership space where we come together and we sort out your sales, your processes, your systems, all that sort of stuff. But we also make sure that everything you do within your business is money generating activity to the best of its ability. We set you up for success every 90 days. We do our 90-day planning. We do CEO dates to make sure we're doing our tracking and looking at our metrics and data to see what's working, to see what's not, to see what we can optimize. So her sales club is something that I'm really, really excited about. It is, I believe, going to be a game changer for a lot of women in business because if I can just change that dial to show people how easy sales can be, their business
sky's
will
the
make
limit.
yeah, so much more income, so much more impact out there in the industry.
Yeah, I feel
So
like there's a gap in the market for a program around sales that is sexy, that is aspirational, especially to women, that is um, available, accessible. Did I already say that? So many like
yeah.
gaps with this industry, like the
Mhm.
sales industry, because there's heaps of bro clubs, but honestly, I don't know anyone that does what you do.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that there was such a big gap in the market,
Yeah.
because I'd just been constantly helping people, but if it was kind of like the chicken or the egg, what came first? And so people needed money to learn how to sell, but my price points were quite high from a VIP perspective.
Mm.
And so they were like, "Okay, well, I'll have to save up or figure out a way to work with you." And then I was like, "What can I do to make this more accessible to more business owners?" Because some of the best businesses can fall apart because they don't have enough cash flow or sales coming through their door. So her sales club needed to be something that most people can get their hands on.
Yeah. And also, I know that we have these conversations between you and I, but the whole talking about money and how much cash you bring in versus like profit and revenue, and like it is still quite taboo. Like it is
Yeah.
not something that women really talk about or can talk about openly. But I love that you provide that open floor to be able to discuss it, because you and I, we speak the same language. We're very black and white. There's no gray area, and we have massive goals. And so when you have all of those things, like the space that you're creating with her sales club, like those money conversations are not hard and they're not taboo. And I feel like when they're open and in the air, you actually can be like, get more help because you're transparent about your numbers. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Like a rising, what's the thing? A rising tide lifts all
So all
boats. Or
yes,
whatever it is.
all all ships, I think it is.
All ships, all
Yeah,
yachts. Let's just say
yeah,
yacht, okay?
yeah.
And
Love it.
so like more women winning equals
Mm.
like just a better economy, a better place to live,
Yeah.
like just everything. And so yeah, I really love that about you.
I think there's a potential for women to hold back on sharing their successes
Mm.
because they don't want to look greedy. They don't want to look like they've ripped a whole heap of people off from a money perspective. But I believe like if one of my clients comes to me
You
and
get so
says,
excited. Look at your
yeah,
face right
I
now.
know,
It's like
stop it.
lit.
When one of my clients comes to me and says, I've had the best launch I've had, that to me, yes, equals money in their pocket, but the money is just a side thing. I remember when I first started out in business and I thought, wow, like when I'm earning this amount of money, everything will be great. Like everything will just be seamless. And then I remember getting that client and the money hit my account and I thought, oh, this doesn't feel like I thought it would. This didn't change anything. I'm still putting my head on the same pillow at night. I've still got the same challenges in my business as what I did previously. And so for me, it wasn't necessarily about making more money then. It was like, what do I need to do to have more impact on people? How do I find those moments that light up my face? How do I find those moments of like talking to my clients and getting emotional, thinking, holy shit, we've done this,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm getting teary now
I
just
know.
thinking about it because I think I've helped someone achieve something that they've been wanting for so long, and I freaking loved doing it,
Yeah.
and they are so excited about it because they've finally seen the potential for them.
And hand on heart and me raising my hand, I'm one of those people. So you helped me double my membership.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you wanted to share that, so I
I
was keeping it on the download.
know. You helped me double my membership and also like just change the game with my services,
Yeah.
because you were like, well, you know your stuff. Like you are really good at what you do. Let's light it up and share it with the world. And
Yeah.
so like it's just, oh, okay. So she's wiping a tear out of her eye.
Stop it.
No, but that, like, this was the purpose for this conversation, is to like put you in lights, because that's what I love to do with my guests. But honestly, like honesty and real results, like just achieve amazing things and more impact, right? Because you're right about the money thing. When it hits your account, like it does feel great. Don't get me wrong. And there'll be people listening going, hang on a minute, like I am struggling to
Yeah.
make money in my business. Like, I don't know whether I'm going to close it or whether I'm going to keep going.
Mm.
But when you overcome that hurdle, it 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 50,000, the impact then kicks in, and it's like, doesn't feel any different, but
Mm.
your ability to make more impact is like such a good feeling. That's
Yeah.
where like the fire ends up going and ends up staying lit from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I also
yeah.
don't want to see women struggle financially
No.
either. So
No.
my business supports a local women's shelter.
Yeah.
And so I know the more women that I help from a business perspective, I'm helping more women from a domestic violence and supporting other women that are struggling, because I think as women, I think that we've for so many years, and like the patriarchal stuff that comes with it, of like, we're not supposed to be standalone, independent women that can look after ourselves. We're supposed to have someone to rely on and to someone to provide for us and all that sort of stuff, which is all great in fairyland. But what if
But we don't live.
No, we don't live in fairyland, unfortunately. But I want to make sure that every single woman can financially support herself. And I believe that there's a business for most people. And business gives you that opportunity to have an endless amount of income. No one determines how much your income can be. And the way that I like to look at business is, how do we scale it? How do we make it easier? How do we stop swapping time for money? So yeah, I believe that the money at the start is hard to come by sometimes. And I get that people struggle with that. I really do. I've been there. I totally get it. And I've helped women in that space too. But there needs to be some other reason as to why you want that money, or why you want to do your business. Why do you see yourself driving hard and fast for it? What does that look like? Because the money won't always bring you that happiness. You want to be able to put your head on your pillow at night and think, I've just helped 5 beautiful clients have the biggest launches that they've had, or doubled their membership. And you think, life's pretty freaking good. I'm making a difference in people's world.
Or increase selling their products, like whatever the
Yeah.
vessel is, product, service. Like, yeah, I understand.
Absolutely.
It is beautiful. So how can people work with you? You've got Her Sales Club. Tell me.
So
Tell
we've got
everyone. I know, but
yeah. So we've got Her Sales Club, that is an ongoing membership that opens its doors a couple of times a year. We're launching again in March. I also do presenting and speaking and training for businesses too. So if you've got a team or anything along those lines, we can come in and set up your sales processes and teams and get your team across it. And I also work one-on-one from a VIP point of view. So that can be a strategy day where we literally dig in and pull your business apart, which I know can sound scary, but then we also plug it all back in together, and I'm there with you for the next month or so to support you as you implement all the changes and challenges that may come up. Or we work together over a certain number of months where we build your business and we look at your marketing, your assets, your messaging, your sales processes, your pricing, your follow-up, your nurturing, all that sort of fun stuff too. So it just depends on what feels right for you and your business and what it is that you're looking for. Some people are the sort of people that are like, give me a list of things to do and I'm good. I will go and I'll implement the bejeebus out of it. Some people like, I need you to hold my hand a bit more. Great, let's do that too. Some people want to have that community and that motivation. And so Her Sales Club gives them that too.
yeah.
So
And you have a podcast.
I
Don't
do
leave
have
that out.
Yeah, I do have a podcast called The Sales Show with Maree Kirkpatrick. And that's a place where I like to share some really good tips and advice and things that you can do in your business to grow your sales. But like, even if you've got no money, right? So say you open the doors to your business tomorrow and you think, how am I going to, like, it's not just build a website and people will just throw money at you. That's not how business works,
They don't
unfortunately.
come.
No, they definitely do not come. And so the sales show is about things that you can implement straight away to get some cash, to get some cash through the door. And so it's a little passion project that I love to get sometimes a little bit ranty with. When I think the last episode we did was about niching, and so many business coaches I've spoken to are like, you really need to focus down on your niche, Maree. You really need to focus on one industry and one. And I was like, man, and then I'd have some other big client come through and I'd be like, well, you don't fit within my niching box. So it was like, how do I look at niching without necessarily niching in the traditional, like, so laser focused way that we're not necessarily touching the right people that we want to be playing with. So I get a bit ranty on it, and I get a little bit, I'm not trying to hold back on anything. I'm not trying to say to people, well, you've got to do it the same way that every other person does it in business. No, that's not what I'm about. I do it in a way that shows people that this is a way that you could do it. This is what's worked for me. This is what worked for my clients. Yeah. And so I've had some really good feedback on it, which has been really cool.
Yeah. And so how can we find you? Where can we find you? What is your social media?
Okay, so the social media, you can find me on Instagram at Maree Kirkpatrick. You can find me on Facebook at Maree Kirkpatrick Consulting. You can find me in the podcast at The Sales Show with Maree Kirkpatrick. Or you can hit me up via email at mareekirkpatrick@mareekirkpatrick.com.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. I haven't had anyone come in to talk about sales, and I just could not wait to have you as my guest early on in the year of 2024. So thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the real, raw, and honest chats that we always have.
I love it. Okay, bye.
Bye.